very recently, and like you mentioned in the very beginning, you used to live in Idaho. I want to ask a question about that. What was it like? Because even before podcasts, even before we even done anything today, you were talking to my mom about Idaho, how people think Idaho's really cool. But apparently it's not, because I thought Idaho was mountainous, and is it not?
So Idaho, it does have the mountains for sure, and when you see like pamphlets like Travel Idaho, they always have the mountain picture. I think. But like at least half of Idaho is like flat desert, nothing. Or you have like the South Hills, and the South Hills are mostly like sagebrush. So you imagine like these hills with no trees. So you have a desert followed by hills with no trees. And when you see pictures, but as you get into northern Idaho, then the beauty starts. But most people actually live like down in the valleys, like live in southern Idaho because the winters are so harsh up in the Panhandle. Really? Yeah, so like it's really beautiful in the Panhandle, like especially in the spring and summer and fall. But the winters are very long, tons of snow, and it's a great place. Like, Idaho's really cool in a way because you have all this different like terrain, and it is like you can be looking for, you can see 100 miles feels like, in some spots. It's very open, but to me the winters are very, very long there.
Are they?
They're long and bleak.
That's how much more north? What's the like latitude or equivalent? Like, would that be Indiana for us? Is like latitude for
latitude?
Idaho?
Yeah, I think the top of Indiana would be like in southern Idaho. Yeah,
Idaho is very tall too. So
yeah,
there's a lot of
people. It's one of the most underpopulated states. Even though it's like landmass is huge, it has a little over 1 million people in it, I think. So
wow,
yeah,
and it's a huge state.
It's a huge state. Yeah, so it's mostly empty.
And so it's like we know Idaho potatoes. So there's plenty of potatoes there. You lived in the not mountainous part.
I grew up in a tiny little town in the southern part of Idaho called Buell, which is like way out. And then I moved to Boise, which is like the big city quote of Idaho.
Is it not really big?
No, a couple 100,000 people. I mean, so it's like, but no, not like California standards.
Yeah.
Big or like, but no. So I lived in Boise, and Boise's is definitely a cool city to be in. And then you go north from there, and there's like really cool lakes. Idaho's known for its trout. Like they have some really rare trout there. They have bull trout and crazy hybrids like cutthroat rainbow, cutthroat brown, like all kinds of like the trout all mix and mingle and like it's a trout fisherman's paradise there. But one thing I have to say is when I came to the Appalachian Mountains, I was like, the trout are bigger here in the Appalachian Mountains. Yes, you wouldn't, because I think the growing season is real short.
Oh, yeah, that's with a lot of animals out west. Is like their harsh winters actually like hurt them in a way, because like they used to be a elk called I think it's called the eastern elk, but they went extinct because I guess eastern was more people at the time, and they went ahead and killed them out. But then because people like the states wanted elk back over here because they're natural, and I guess they're a good enough animal to bring back. They're not saying anything about bringing back mountain lions. I'd like to see that, but they have brung some Rocky Mountain elk, brought them over to Kentucky. Kentucky has like the largest elk population in the eastern United States.
Really?
It has like 12,000, which is a lot. Because there's like, that's like a lot. But they said that the Rocky Mountain elk in Kentucky are going to be so much bigger and healthier than they'd ever be in the Rocky Mountains, because here, compared to the Rocky Mountains, the winters are super easy. And like the winters here, they can get cold, but that's just relative. Cold is 100% relative.
It is.
So, but like our winters are what? It's not really that cold in November. It's not really that cold in December.
I was surprised that even though like I live in the mountains too, not here in Kentucky, but like I still live in the mountains, and we'd have like a day in January it'd be like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
And like in Idaho that usually doesn't happen at all. Like a warm day is 45 degrees or something like that. A lot of times, I mean, it could be in the 20s or teens at night, or single digits depending on where you live in elevation. Sometimes zeros, -10, -20 or whatever. So for many days in a row. So like the way I describe it is Idaho has more variety of trout, but like say West Virginia has way bigger trout.
That's crazy. And what do you think has to do with that? Oh, you just said the winters. But in turn, the winters allows more bugs and stuff to grow here?
So here's what it is. Like when I walk around, when I wade the rivers in the Appalachian Mountains, there's so much more life in them. There's so many more bugs, frogs, snakes, minnows everywhere of all kinds. Like I might wade a creek, and if like you were to throw a net over the creek, you might catch 10 different minnows in one big net scoop. But in Idaho, like we don't even have gizzard shad. Gizzard shad they can't survive the harsh winter. We'll have crawdads and stuff like that. But there's so many more, like you guys have so many more hellgrammites and things like that, where I think all the food, basically, there's just a bigger food supply in the rivers in the Appalachian Mountains versus the Rocky Mountains or where I lived, where it was the Sawtooth Mountains. So
I think it's the same way on like the hunting or like land-based stuff, because I was saying this as soon as you got here, everywhere that there is a piece of dirt that is not concrete, there is something green growing out of it, and there's a whole community of birds that are bugs that use that little green thing, and it's just so much biodiversity, I guess.
Yes,
like there's so much food.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always wet. We know that. You know that. Always wet. It's the dirt. It's the Appalachian Mountains, so they're old, wore-down mountains. The soil's good. Sunlight, pretty much, when it's not raining. So you got everything, and everything's just so green. Everything has everything it could need to live.
Yeah, and like now that I think about it, when you like go on a walk, say in the foothills of Idaho, you can just tell based on bird sounds. There are so many more birds down here versus Idaho. And just walking around, there are so many more bugs. In fact, coming down here, I had to get used to like wearing hip boots and stuff like that, which you don't in Idaho, because there might be rattlesnakes and that's it. And growing up in Idaho, I never saw a wild rattlesnake my whole life growing up. Like they're just not very common.
Yeah.
But down here, there are snakes popping out of the bushes.
Did you see the snake on my road?
I did.
Because we fed it to the turkey.
You fed it to the turkey. Turkeys eat snakes?
Apparently.
They'll slaughter a snake.
Really? I did not know that about turkeys.
Especially,
I thought it was like grain and
they eat. Turkeys are just a big old dinosaur.
A hen with like little turkeys will absolutely demolish a snake.
I would love to see that. That's crazy. I never thought. Yeah, turkeys. They're pretty savage.
Turkeys are very populous here. I don't know about Idaho and turkeys. I know there's some turkeys out there, but there's just the amount amount of food that's available out there. They can't be that many more animals.
Yeah. I mean, Idaho has cool hunting. Because like they have people go for the big deer, big elk, and stuff like that. But in terms of just like sheer like amount of life, definitely the Appalachian Mountains wins over the Sawtooth Mountains every time.
Yeah, and that's the Sawtooth is what the...
That's like in the upper
Idaho
panhandle.
Is it the Rocky Mountains, or is that a whole different range?
No, Rocky Mountains are us. Actually, they're Colorado. Rocky Mountains are a spine through there, and then Idaho actually is like Cascade. Well, they'll have like a general mountain range, and then they separate it off.
Like the Smoky Mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah. Sawtooth, Cascade Mountains, whatever you want to look at it.
Did y'all have like rams and sheep there?
Yes, there's a lot of those. People will fly to Idaho to hunt.
I know that Idaho is one of the very few places that you can go get an elk tag like just over the counter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and apparently that's a big deal. But like here, everything is over the counter, and you get on your phone and buy a hunting license. Like we're taking squirrel hunting. We're just going to get on your phone, take you like 2 seconds. Boop, you got a hunting license, and you can kill squirrels as many as you want.
Kentucky was one of the easiest places I've ever been to get a license. It was like less than 5 minutes. I had my license.
Yeah, it's super easy. Yeah. And I mean, if you kill anything of significance, which is like a turkey, bobcat, deer, bear, you just get on your phone. They want to know that you did it. So you just get in there, type in its stats. If it's a boy or girl, when'd you kill it? What'd you kill it with? What county you killed it in? Boom, you're done. It's called telecheck. You can either call in and do like a voice robot thing, or just get on and do it like that.
Wow.
And like in a lot of states out there, I don't know if it's Idaho or not, but if you kill something, you have to like keep its horns on so they'll know it's a boy, and then wrap a tag around it. Here, you don't do that. You just kill it and you do whatever you want to, and just make sure you tag it in by the end of the day.
You just got 24 hours. That's all you got to do.
It's pretty simple here.
Yeah.
But the biggest animal we have is maybe a bear. We do have bears. You're not going to see them that often.
Other than that, an elk. That's it.
And an elk, and you're not really going to see those super often either. But very common, you'll see deer, and they're everywhere. You've probably noticed that.
Yeah.
Which you live in the South, deer dominate the South.
They do. They do.
It's awesome. If you like this clip, guys, go on down, first link in the description, or type in Kicking It with KG Ace videos, and you will find the full podcast there. Check it out, guys. You may like it. If you like this segment, you'll definitely like that.